go to gear 1. So I'm going to drive to where they start the driving test at Caboolture, and then I'm gonna start talking from there. Indicate, mirror, shoulder check. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'm going to be driving around Caboolture driving test area, and hopefully that will help you out if you are doing a driving test soon. So if you are new to our channel, welcome, and consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on future driving related videos. So Caboolture is one of those centers that is in Queensland, and it's located on the north side, and they do quite a number of driving tests each week, and you can actually now do your driving test on Saturday. So they are now doing Saturday driving tests, which is pretty good for like people who don't have time during the week. So they've kind of like made that option available of letting people do their driving test on Saturday. Personally, I'm no longer covering Caboolture driving test area, so I used to cover this center in the past, but these days I'm mainly doing my driving lessons and driving tests near the city. So I only come here every now and then. So basically, if you are thinking of maybe booking a driving lesson with me after watching this video, basically I'm not gonna be able to help you out, just to give you the heads up. I'm just doing these videos because there are people who ask me to do videos around these centers. So Caboolture this time. Next time I'm gonna try my best and do Ipswich, because that's one of the centers that a lot of people have also asked me to do. So keep your eyes out on that video. It's gonna be coming sometime in the next month, but otherwise, yeah, I'm just gonna do Caboolture. And if you are doing a driving test, hopefully this will help you out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna quickly drive to the driving test center, and I'm gonna start talking from there and talk you through what I'm doing and stuff like that, and we're gonna keep this video as short as possible. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put on my seat belt. I'm driving a manual transmission, so if you're doing your driving test in an automatic transmission, you're still gonna get the same benefit basically, because obviously for you it's gonna be even a little bit easier, but I'm doing this drive in a manual transmission. So I'm gonna go ahead and crash down, start the car, and then go to gear 1. So I'm going to drive to where they start the driving test at Caboolture, and then I'm gonna start talking from there. Indicate, mirror, shoulder check. Can go. Change the second. So here I'm gonna go left. Slow down, check my mirrors. Then I go to the position for turning left. Okay, no one is coming. There's a truck that is coming out, so I need to give way to the truck. So once he's out, he's gone, I can continue. Alright, so here I am arriving at where they usually start the driving tests. So if you've booked your driving test at Caboolture Driving Test Center, you need to make sure that you arrive like 20 minutes before the test, and then you need to go inside the office to let them know that you've arrived, and then they will check your license and then ask you a few questions as well. It's also important to make sure that your car is roadworthy, so make sure before you go inside the center, make sure you check your indicators, brake lights and tires, make sure they are working. If you are doing your driving test in a driving instructor's car, you don't have to worry about this, because the instructor will have taken care of that. So they would have checked the car, they would have made sure that the car is roadworthy. And then from there, you're gonna go inside and you're gonna let them know that you've arrived, and then you're gonna walk back to the car with your driving examiner, and the driving examiner is gonna be standing outside. And at that point, you can turn the key until the dashboard light comes on. And also it's always recommended to put down your window, and then your examiner will be asking you to indicate left, and then they will ask you to indicate right. They will ask you to press the brakes, and also they ask you to beep the horn. And once everything is fine, the examiner will come inside the car, and then at that time you can actually go ahead and start your car. So start my car, and at that point, make sure you make yourself comfortable. So you need to make sure that, like, for example, you have your aircon running. It's always recommended, especially if you are in Queensland where the weather like warms up pretty quick. So having the aircon on is good. It's gonna make you feel comfortable, and also it's gonna make your driving examiner feel a little bit comfortable. And then from there, your examiner normally asks you to show them like 2 controls about the car. So this can be like your windscreen wipers, the front maybe, and the back one. And they can also ask you maybe to do the hazard lights. So make sure you familiarize yourself with the car that you are using, so that you don't lose points before you even start the test. From there, if everything is good, so usually they ask you 2 questions. If you are interested in knowing exactly what happens on the day of your driving test, there is a video that I've done in the past, so I'm gonna link to the video so you can watch that video. It's the video that says what happens on the day of your driving test. So I go into details into what happens on the day of your driving test. So once everything is fine, you can go ahead and put your car in gear. So I'm driving a manual car, so I'm gonna put the car in first gear. But if you are driving an automatic car, you're gonna put the car in drive. So what I did before I started this drive, I've actually reversed my vehicle inside. So that's usually recommended, to reverse your car inside rather than parking forward facing. Because once you finish, once you are inside with an examiner and you are obviously a little bit nervous, you can just drive out without having to reverse and go forward, you know, those type of things. So I've got my car in first gear at the moment. I'm gonna indicate right, I'm gonna look around, make sure everything is good, and then I'm gonna start driving out. So I'm gonna drive for about 20 to 30 minutes, nice and quick. So here, the examiner will most likely ask you to go right. So at that point, you put on your right indicator. Make sure you look out for pedestrians. So sometimes people are walking around, there is no one coming, and then now you inch forward to look for cars. So like now there is a truck coming. I need to give way to the truck. There's also a black car which is coming, but I think he's pulling over, checking again, and then I can go. So coming out is important to not rush anything, because there will be a lot of trucks and in the area. So here we are going left, so indicate, make sure I slow down. It's a little bit hard to see, so I need to make sure I don't rush. Then once nothing is coming, I can turn. Increase the speed, change gear, increase the speed again. So at these traffic lights, most likely the examiner will ask you to go straight. I'm also gonna change to third gear. The lights just changed, so I just decided to stop. So if you have enough time to stop and you check your mirror and there is no one behind you, you can just stop. So I checked, the truck was too far away, so I could stop safely. But if you can't stop safely, just go through. So now here we are waiting for the lights to change to green. And then at the next traffic lights, I'm going to be going right. Okay, so here we are going straight. So I'm gonna stay in this lane here, checking as well. Usually it's best to stay in this middle lane, because if you go in the far right lane, you're gonna have to change lane at some point. So I'm indicating right, anticipating this light could go to amber, but it's still green, so I can go. Once we turn, I'm gonna stay in this middle lane here, increasing the speed, change gear, crouching out, and then looking ahead, I see that there's a red light coming up, so I'm gonna start slowing down, check my rear view mirror as I brake as well, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put the car in second gear as I slow down. Make sure that I bring the clutch all the way up, and then clutch down again when I'm close enough to the car. Go to first gear. If you are doing automatic transmission, you obviously don't have to worry about all of this. You just basically slow down and stop. The light has changed, so we're gonna start moving, increasing the speed, changing to second, crouching out, increasing the speed again, changing to third gear, crouching out. So this is why I said it's best to turn from that other lane, because you can see that this lane is actually, you have to turn right at the traffic lights, of which that means that the examiner will more likely ask you to change to the left lane. So if you don't want to change lane, too much lane change, you can just come into this lane straight away. Okay, so increasing the speed here is 60, so I need to make sure that I'm not going over the limit. And then here, let's say the driving examiner asks you to change to the left lane, so I'm gonna go ahead and indicate left. I'm gonna check my mirror, I'm gonna do a shoulder check to the left, and then I can go when it's safe. Making sure that I stay under the speed limit, very important. It's very easy to speed on this street. So 60 kilometers per hour at the moment. And then coming up, there is a roundabout coming up. It's a multi-lane roundabout, so which means it's got 2 lanes. So when approaching these types of roundabouts, you want to make sure you take care. Don't rush anything. So here I'm slowing down. I'm gonna go directly to second gear. See, there's a little bit of traffic because this is kind of like leading towards school time. And then checking my right, there's no one coming, so I can enter the roundabout, change to second, increase the speed, and then I'm gonna have to merge straight away. So indicate, mirror, shoulder check, and if it's safe to go, you can go. And then here I'm gonna have to go back to second gear. It's a little bit busy, so if you're doing your test around this time, yeah, there will be a little bit of traffic. So this is around 3:10, around 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, it can get a little bit busy. So here I know the speed limit is 60. It's a little bit of traffic. I've got the car in second gear at the moment, so I'm gonna go ahead and change to third gear. Increase the speed, and then I'm gonna change to fourth gear, clutching out. Every now and then checking my mirrors. So 60 kilometers per hour on this road. The traffic light is green, but that could change by the time I get there. So I need to anticipate. It's still green, so I can keep moving. Making sure that I keep an eye on the speed limit. So here there is a 60 sign again, so still fine to keep doing around 56, 57. Again, a green light, so I can keep moving, checking through the traffic lights. Now looking ahead, I see that there is a sign which says 50 kilometers per hour. So it's important that we do 50 by the time we get to the sign. So here I'm in a manual transmission, so I'm also going to downshift to third gear, because that's going to keep me under the limit. Then here the light has changed to amber, so I need to brake. Also check my mirror. I can brake when I'm close enough, crouch down, and it's okay if you stop in third gear. Once you have stopped, go ahead and put your car in first gear, or if you are driving an automatic car, you don't really need to do anything. So you can see that the speed there dropped suddenly from 60 to 50. Okay, the light has changed, so checking, making sure I scan through when I'm going through. And then here there is a little bit of traffic, so I need to make sure that I stop. Also, I need to make sure that I'm not too close to this car in front of me. So maybe stopping about here. Once I stop, I'm gonna double check my gear, make sure it's still fine. Also here, if it's a long stop, you can also like put the handbrake up and then relax your right foot a little bit. Okay, so the light has changed, so they're gonna start moving. So prepare, then I can move. Increase the speed, change to second gear, crouching out, increase the speed again, change to third gear, crouching out. And then I need to remember that the speed limit is 50, so I need to make sure that I don't go over the speed limit. Okay, coming up is a set of traffic lights, and your driving examiner can ask you to go right. So I'm gonna go ahead and check my mirrors. I'm gonna indicate right. I'm gonna get into the turning lane, and then I'm gonna slow down the car, and I'm also gonna go to second gear, and then crouching out, and then I stop behind the line. Once you stop, go into first gear, and then again get ready. So again here, if you know that it's gonna be a very long stop, you can always just put the handbrake up. And then here we just need to be watching the traffic lights so that when they change and we get a green arrow, we can just start moving. Also, when I'm waiting, like here, I can already tell that there is a sign, there's some kind of roadworks. So sometimes you can actually, like while you're waiting at the traffic lights, you can always look far ahead and see what's going on into the street where you are turning into. So here the green arrow has come on, so we're gonna look both sides, then we can go, increase the speed, change gear, crouch out. So again here, remembering is 40. Anyway, if this wasn't 40, there is a school zone. So it's important that if you're going through a school zone, make sure you don't speed, because that's one of the main reasons why people fail their driving tests, speeding. Okay, so remembering it's 40, so I need to keep doing 40 until I pass this sign here, this one which says 50. So once I pass that sign, it's okay to speed up and go. Like there's a pedestrian crossing here, so I need to look, no one is there. So again, making sure that I control the speed. So remembering the speed is 50. So here I'm going to be making a right turn. So I'm going to check my mirrors. I'm going to indicate right. I'm going to change to second gear. Now this turn here is a little bit around the corner, so it's important that we don't rush it. Okay, no one is coming, so I can turn. And then once we turn, I didn't see the speed limit, so I can assume that the speed limit is 50. Increasing the speed, changing gear, so I can do like 46, 47. But because it's around the corner, I can even do 40. And then here there is another school zone coming up. So by the time I get to the sign, I need to be doing 40 already. So I'm gonna also drop to second because I see there's a lot of people parking on the left. so I need to make sure I go a little bit slow. Okay, this roundabout here, I'm going to be going left. Actually, I'm gonna be going straight on this roundabout. So slowing down, checking my right. There's a car turning right, so I'm gonna give way to it. Once that car is gone, check again. If it's safe, I can enter the roundabout, then indicate left when I'm coming out. At the end of the street, I'm gonna be making a left turn. So here it's important that we look ahead again. I can see there is a stop sign coming up, so I need to remember to stop. So I'm going left, checking, and then I'm gonna come here and then come to a complete stop. Once I stop enough, go to first gear, check, no one is coming, so I can go. Once I increase the speed, change gear. There's a amber light here coming up, so I need to stop. So brake, 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 crash in. It's important that we don't crash in too early, because that will be clutch costing, and usually if you coast for too long, the examiner will fail you for that, because that actually damages the clutch. The light has changed to green, so looking both sides, increase the speed, change to second, crashing out. Okay, at this set of traffic lights, the examiner can either tell you to go left or straight, but I'm gonna go straight. So here, coming to a stop, braking, checking my mirror, and then crashing, and then go to first gear. Again, here it looks like the light is gonna be a long light, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the handbrake on just to relax my foot a little bit. Okay, the light has changed, so we can move, increasing the speed, changing to second, looking through the traffic lights, and then the light has changed to amber, but I'm already halfway through, so that's fine. And then here there's pedestrians crossing, so making sure no one is crossing. And then at this set of traffic lights, I'm gonna be going left. So I'm gonna check my mirrors and I'm gonna indicate left. And I need to make sure that I don't stop too close to this car in front of me. And then once I stop, go to gear 1. So at this point, I've been driving for maybe 15 minutes. So that's about halfway through the test. And it's usually at this time that a lot of people, they start to zone out and they lose focus. Make sure you keep focusing until you get back to the center, because it's very easy to make a mistake in the last 10 minutes or in the last 5 minutes. So the test is not finished until you get back to the center. Also, when the light changed to green, I think those pedestrians might get a green person there. So probably they will go first. And then we need to make sure that they cross first before we move. Okay. So once they move, I can turn. Change gear, and then here I didn't see any speed limit, but you have to assume it's 50 if you don't see any sign. Okay, at this set of traffic lights, I'm gonna be going right, so I'm gonna indicate, I'm gonna slow down the car, and I'm gonna get into this turning lane, and then make sure I keep indicating, go to first gear. And then again here, when I'm stopped like this, I need to keep looking around and see what's going on. Looking after I turn right, there is a school zone. So kind of already anticipating, I already know what's going on. So it won't come to me as a surprise. Okay, so 40 kilometers per hour, increase the speed. I'm gonna go to third gear. If you are driving a manual transmission, in a 40 zone, you can still use third gear. If you keep the car in second gear, most likely the examiner will mark you down for that. So I need to keep doing 40, very important. I'm gonna go right at the traffic light. So indicate mirror, check, go into the turning lane. And then once we are here, we're gonna be stopping at the traffic lights. Okay, so we're gonna have to slow down. I'm gonna change to second gear. Okay, the green arrow has come on, so we need to look both sides when we're going through the traffic lights, and then we can turn. Once we turn, there is a railway crossing here, so we need to make sure the light is not flashing. Also look through left and right when going through the railway crossing. Increasing the speed, changing gear. And then here there is a speed limit of 50 kilometers per hour. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be going left. So I'm gonna indicate, I'm gonna check my mirrors. I'm also gonna do a shoulder check because of the bicycle lane. And then I can turn. Once we turn here, you can see there is a sign which says 50 kilometers per hour. And so we need to make sure we keep the speed under control. Here the examiner can ask you to go left, so we're gonna check mirrors, indicate. Also again, I'm gonna do a shoulder check because of the big space on the left, which is usually designed for cyclists. And then here the examiner can probably ask you to pull over on the left, for example. So we're gonna stop the car on the left. Once you stop, the examiner can probably ask you maybe to reverse the vehicle in a straight line. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna move the car a little bit forward. Keep indicating left maybe. Okay. Right, and I stop. Into reverse, checking. Then I need to make sure that when I'm reversing, I'm looking physically behind. So keeping my wheel straight, reversing for maybe 30 meters. Which is about this much maybe. And then usually the examiner will tell you to stop. Once you stop, the examiner can maybe, for example, here ask you to do a U-turn using the street on the right, which is what I'm gonna do now. So I'm gonna indicate, check, shoulder check, and then I can go. And then I'm gonna indicate right to do a U-turn. So this is a U-turn using the street on the right. Some people call this a P-turn. So usually if you are using a manual car, do this in first gear. So we're gonna go around like this. Once we get here, we can indicate left. We need to make sure we check. There's no one coming, we can go. Increasing the speed, changing gear, and then we go. At the end of the street, I'm gonna be making a right turn. So I'm gonna indicate, slow down, position the car properly. Also here, I'm gonna select first gear because it's a little bit hard to see. Once I check, no one is coming, so I can turn. Increasing the speed, changing gear, crashing out, increasing the speed again, changing gear, crashing out. At the end of the street, I'm gonna be going left. So I'm gonna check my mirrors, I'm gonna indicate left. I'm gonna go ahead and change to second gear. And then I need to check, there's some cars coming, so I need to make sure that I don't rush. Okay, I think I can make it before the other car comes. Increasing the speed, changing gear. So if you get a safe gap, take it. Pedestrian crossing, there's no one coming. So remembering here, the speed is 50. There's no sign. So if you see no sign, always assume 50. And then here in a 50 zone, if you're driving a manual car, leave the car in third gear is good. So we are still in a 50 zone. Pedestrian crossings, there's no one there. Okay, at this set of traffic lights, the examiner can either ask you to go straight, left, or maybe right. but I'm gonna go straight on this one. So once I brake, I stop, then go to first gear. Okay, so the light has changed to green, so we're gonna be moving soon. Okay, increasing the speed, and then changing gear, crashing out, increasing the speed again, changing gear. Here there is a sign which says the speed limit is 40, but again, even if it wasn't 40, there is a school zone, so I need to make sure that I'm not going over the speed limit. So leaving the car in third gear will be the best thing to do if you are doing your driving test in a manual transmission. Checking my mirrors every now and then. There is another set of traffic lights coming up. Also at this set of traffic lights, I'm also gonna be going straight. So once I brake, I can go to second gear, crash out, approach the car. When I'm close enough, crash down into first gear. And then the light has changed, so they are moving, so increasing the speed, changing to second, crashing out. So remembering here the speed limit is still 40 kilometers per hour. I didn't see any other sign. This roundabout, I'm gonna be going right, so that means the third exit. So I'm gonna change to second gear. I'm gonna apply right indicator, so making sure I keep an eye on what's going on inside the roundabout. There is cars coming, so I need to give way to them. Okay, so maybe after the white car he didn't indicate. That's fine. Increasing the speed, change gear. Before I exit, I'm gonna indicate left. I see a speed limit of 60, so I can increase the speed, change gear, increase the speed again, change to fourth gear. There is another roundabout coming up, so on that roundabout I'm going to go straight, and I'm gonna be taking the second exit. So what I'm gonna do, I'm in fourth gear. I'm just gonna go ahead and change straight from 4 to 2, crash out, check my right, there's no one coming, so I can enter the roundabout. And then I go, before I exit, I'm gonna indicate left. Once I exit, remove the indicator, increase the speed, change gear. Increase the speed again, change to fourth gear, crashing out, increase the speed. Coming up is another roundabout. So this area here has a few roundabouts, so it's important that you are good with the roundabouts, and sometimes they can get a little bit busy. So here I'm gonna go straight to second again. I see there is someone coming from the inside the roundabout going right, so I need to wait for them. So there's 2 of them, and then after they are gone, I can enter the roundabout, change to second. Before I exit, indicate left, then remove the indicator. This roundabout, the examiner can ask you to go left, so I'm gonna indicate left. I'm gonna slow down the car. I need to check on the right hand side, make sure no one is coming, and I think I can actually enter the roundabout because I can use this left lane here. Increase the speed, left indicator before I exit, remove the indicator. I need to merge, so I'm gonna indicate right, mirror, shoulder check, it's safe to go, so I can actually go. Increasing the speed, change to fourth gear, so the speed is 60 here. When I'm driving, I need to make sure that I'm not over the speed limit, but even though this car in front of me is going a little bit slow, I still need to maintain a safe gap, so that is about 2 seconds. And then usually here you'll be going back to the driving test center, which is what I'm doing now. Now usually here the examiner will probably ask you to change lane, but if they don't, sometimes they can ask you to change lane after the traffic lights. So because this lane here, it's not gonna take you back to the center, so I could have changed lane there. And even on your driving test, even if the examiner hasn't asked you and you know the area a little bit and you know you are going back to the center, you can actually always just go into that left lane instead of staying in this right lane. Okay, so the light has changed to green, so they're gonna probably start moving. So they're moving. Change to second. Important, if you're going back to the center, make sure you don't lose focus. Keep focusing, because a lot of people fail in their last 5 minutes. So I'm gonna change lane. I'm gonna indicate left. There's a red car coming. I don't know if they're gonna let me in. I think they're gonna let me in, so I'm gonna shoulder check and make sure that I maintain a good distance from the car in front of me as well. That's very important. You still need to maintain 2 seconds when you are changing lanes. If you are very close to the front car, the examiner will fail you for it. And then at not these traffic lights, the next ones, I'm gonna be going left. So I need to check my mirrors. I'm gonna indicate left, and then I'm gonna get into this lane, but I need to move over again. Check the mirror. This time I'm also gonna do a shoulder check because of this bicycle lane, and I'm gonna stay in this lane here because the other lane is gonna turn left afterwards. I'm also gonna downshift to third gear because it's not a sharp turn. And then once we turn here, there's a red light coming up, so we need to make sure we slow down. And then I can always like downshift to second gear. So at this point, you'll be going back to your driving, to the driving test center. And if you haven't made too many mistakes, there will be no reason why you fail the test. So make sure you don't make any critical driving errors. So like speeding, stop signs. If you haven't made any of those mistakes, you should be able to pass the driving test. Okay, so the light will change soon. Okay, so green light, so we can go, looking both sides. Increase the speed, change to second gear, and then coming up is where the center is, so I'm gonna go right. So I'm gonna check my mirrors, I'm gonna indicate right, I'm gonna get into this turning lane, and also I need to make sure that there's no car coming from the opposite direction, and then I can turn. Once I turn, usually here you'll be coming back to the center, so checking, and then you'll be like entering the driving test area here. Once you enter the center, so the examiner are more likely to ask you to park on the right hand side. So there's parking here which are designated for driving tests, and then so you just come here, you park your car. This time parking forward facing instead of reverse is usually a good idea. And then at this point you switch off your car. So make sure if you are driving automatic car, make sure you are in park, make sure you've got the handbrake on. If you're driving a manual car, usually you can always, let me just show you here. So you can always like keep the clutch down, switch off the car, and leave your car in first gear. So usually manual cars, it's always recommended to leave them parked in gear. And then at this point, your driving examiner will ask you to accompany him or her to the debrief area to discuss the outcome of the test. So that's where they're gonna tell you whether you passed the driving test or whether you made any serious mistake, or maybe like if you made a lot of small mistakes. Because if you make more than 8 small mistakes, you fail the driving test. And if you make 1 critical driving error, you also fail the driving test. So it's important that you remember that it's very easy to fail the driving test. All right, guys, thank you for watching this drive at Caboolture Driving Test Center. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And if you did enjoy watching this video, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. So just click on the like button. And also, if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on future driving related videos. If you are doing a driving test soon, I wish you the best of luck. And also, if you are doing your driving test at Caboolture Test Center, I don't really think it's a very hard driving test center, but as you've seen there, it can get a little bit busy. So make sure that you come here, practice, book a driving lesson with an instructor who knows the area. So like I said before, myself, I won't be able to help anyone doing their driving test at Caboolture, but there's a lot of good instructors who can help you out if you are doing your driving test at Caboolture driving test area. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next driving related video. See you next time.